I have a question. As a service business owner, is it that the leads that you're getting are actually bad? Or are you missing the key components to actually generate high quality, qualified leads? Many service business owners say the leads that they're getting are actually trash, when the truth is that they don't even measure where conversion breaks in their entire sales process. If you're attracting bad fit leads, then that's a filtering problem. If you're attracting good leads but they're not converting, then that's a value perception problem, both signaling that you have a positioning problem. So today we're going to score your conversion strength risk. Now, conversion is a chain from inquiry to a book call to actually closing and converting those prospects. And your risk is determined by which is the weakest link in that entire chain. So therefore, the weaker your conversion, then the less effective it will be, and then the less effective it will be, then the more it forces you to actually go back to relying on referrals, because it's really the only thing that works for you. However, the ugly side of that is that you'll forever be dependent on referrals, which means you're dependent on someone else to actually build your own business. So here's a quick story, right? There's a guy that I'm coaching right now who's actually an accountant and financial advisor who actually owns his own advisory firm. Prior to us working together, he had the same problem. He was creating content, putting it out there, doing all the marketing stuff that everyone tells him to do, yet he wasn't attracting clients from his content. So he came to a workshop I had, took the information, applied it, and started getting qualified leads from his content. And a few months later, we started working together. I started coaching him, and now he consistently generates about 2 to 3 clients per month from his content consistently. But not only that, his sales cycle also was being reduced by 50%. And all he really did was just simply fix his positioning, and then everything else became way easier. Alright, so now we understand how positioning is actually tied to conversion strength. Let's actually calculate your risk. So step 1, you want to calculate 2 conversion rates in the last 90 days. The first is your lead to call conversion rate, meaning the percentages of leads that actually converted to a book sales call. And the second is your book call to client rate, which is basically the percentages of your sales calls that you did that actually converted to paying clients. Step 2, we're going to score each rate from 0 to 5. So let's start with our leads to call rate. If your conversion rate is greater than or equal to 35%, then that's a 0. If it's between 25% and 34%, then that's a 1. Between 15% and 24%, that's a 2. Between 10% and 14%, that's a 3. Between 5% and 9%, that's a 4. And if it's less than 5% or you don't even track it whatsoever, then give yourself a 5. So now we're going to do the same thing with our calls booked to client that's actually convert. So if your conversion rate from book calls to actual paying clients is greater than or equal to 40%, give yourself a 0. If it's between 30 and 39%, give yourself a 1. If it's between 20 and 29%, give yourself a 2. If it's between 10 and 15%, give yourself a 3. If it's between 5 and 9%, give yourself a 4. And if it's less than 5% or it's not being tracked, then give yourself a 5. Now, step 3, we're going to add both scores that you got from 0 to 5, meaning the total of both scores will be anywhere from 0 to 10 because you're combining both 0 to 5 scores as one. So if you scored anywhere between 0 to 2, that means your conversion strength is strong and you're not really at risk where conversion strength is concerned. If it's between 3 to 6, it means that there is some leakage there and you're actually not maximizing on the demand that you're already creating. And if it's between 7 to 10, then that's a severe leak, and it's very easy for you to make the assumption that your non-referral pipelines isn't really working because they're not converting consistently. When, as I mentioned before, it could really just be a positioning problem that you have. Even with strong conversion rates, your growth can still be capped if your goals and pricing don't match what referrals can realistically deliver for your business. Which is why in the next video, we're going to score your growth cap risk. So click here to watch it, and then I'll see you in the next video.